And now it's wind-up time in CK's Muckmag, and your hostess in the haunt of fear, your stewer of sewer stories, your disher-outer of delicious desserts, the old witch is ready with her reeking cauldron. So tuck your jewel cups under your quivering chins, and I'll begin the foul fare I call Shadow of Death. Come with me to a lonely corner in the downtown business section of a large city. Overhead, the last fading star is finally retreating before the advancing light of dawn, and the sleeping city is awakening to the sounds of jangling alarm clocks. But long before the city's office workers and busy housewives have risen from their warm beds, Ezra Morton has been on the job. There he is now, unlocking his little newsstand and swinging wide its doors. Notice how Ezra labors, wincing in pain. Yes, dear reader, Ezra is an invalid, a crippled news dealer. Ezra Morton is paralyzed from the waist down. Notice the bundles of morning newspapers stacked on the curb beside Ezra's newsstand, ready to be untied and laid out neatly on display. See how Ezra struggles, bending in his wheelchair and lifting the heavy packages. Now see the dark and deserted subway kiosk nearby, into which, in a few minutes, the office-bound secretaries and the factory-bound laborers will begin to pour, armed with the newspapers they have purchased from Ezra's stand. Now Ezra is ready for them, for the parade of humanity to rush by his stand and toss its copper pennies upon his paperweights and eat away at the stacks until only a few last battered copies remain. See how he smiles. Yes, dear reader, Ezra smiles. He smiles because he is content, for this is his life, all that matters to him. This little newsstand with its few hundred daily paper sales is Ezra's castle. Its meager profit is the line drawn between independence and starvation for him. So Ezra smiles. But Ezra does not smile for long. Suddenly Ezra catches sight of a figure standing near the subway kiosk.
Hey!
A man clutching a stack of newspapers under his huge arm.
Hey, you! This is my spot. How about it? Find your own spot.
This is a free country, Buster. I'll stand where I like.
And now the people are beginning to hurry from all directions toward the subway entrance, and the big man with the papers under his arms hurries to meet them on strong legs that are not withered and paralyzed as Ezra's are.
Paper lady! Paper mister! What do you read?
Yes, Ezra does not smile. Fear grips Ezra's helpless body. That man with the papers and the healthy legs is stealing paper sales that ordinarily would be Ezra's.
Paper lady! Paper mister! Here's your change.
Paper? Get your paper here!
Ezra begins to do what he has never done before. He calls out, trying to attract attention, calling for sales, imploring, reminding the mass of humanity with healthy legs that it has always bought its papers from him.
Papers! Morning papers! Get them here!
Morning paper, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
But the sleepy-eyed people are blind. In their rush to catch their trains, they do not notice that they are buying their morning papers from someone new.
Please! I've had this corner for 8 years. Those are my customers you're stealing. Please find your own corner.
Do me something, Gimpy. Go ahead. Paper, morning paper.
And now the morning rush hour is almost over. Ezra's paper stacks stand high and hardly touched. The man with the healthy legs waves to Ezra.
All sold out, Gimpy. So long. See you tomorrow.
The man moves off. Ezra stares at the unsold papers piled upon his newsstand counter.
I'll never be able to sell these now.
All day long, Ezra sits in his wheelchair trying to sell his papers to the few who straggle by his stand.
Paper! Get your paper!
Finally, darkness begins to fall. Sadly, Ezra ties his unsold papers into bundles and deposits them on the curb for the trucks to pick up when they deliver the next day's editions. The next morning, the man is there again, hurrying about on his strong legs, selling his papers to the unaware parade, while Ezra cries in vain.
Get your papers here!
Morning, paper lady. Thank you.
The days pass. Every morning the man is there, stealing sales from Ezra. And every night Ezra counts his unsold papers and ties them into bundles.
I'll never make enough to live on this way.
A week goes by, 2. One morning, a truckman who delivers Ezra's papers warns him.
If you can't sell more papers than this, Ezra, we'll cut you out of our delivery route.
I'll try. I'll do something.
But what can Ezra do? What can a cripple do to a man with a healthy, strong body? The truckman leaves. Ezra sits with his head in his hands.
If I weren't paralyzed, if I weren't crippled and helpless, if I were strong, I'd show him.
Above, the sky is just beginning to grow light. The glow from a nearby street lamp casts Ezra's shadow up against his newsstand. Suddenly, Ezra's shadow lifts its head from its hands. It rises from its wheelchair, wavering. It glides off down the deserted street on unsteady legs. It slides across brick walls, board fences, hesitates before a hardware store. It reaches in, plucking the shadow of the axe hanging in the window, lifting away the shadow of the shovel standing among the garden tools, back across board fences, back across brick walls, to a familiar corner where a familiar shadow stands with the shadow of a huge bundle of papers under its arms. Ezra's shadow lifts the shadow of the axe it has stolen and brings it down upon the familiar shadow with the papers under its arms. The shadows of the papers scatter across the building wall as the figure crumples, spurting a shadow fountain from its wound. Ezra's shadow peers at it. The crumpled shadow stirs. Ezra's shadow lifts the axe shadow once more. Now Ezra's shadow drags the lifeless shadow down the alley between the buildings, depositing it in an empty lot beside a faded billboard. With the shadow shovel, Ezra's shadow digs a shallow shadow grave beside the billboard and pushes the lifeless shadow in and shovels the shadow soil in upon it. Then Ezra's shadow returns to the newsstand where Ezra still sits with his head in his hands.
That's what I do.
And Ezra's shadow assumes Ezra's position as Ezra hears.
Hey, this guy's dead! Huh?
Ezra rolls his wheelchair to the crumpled form of the big man with the healthy legs lying among his scattered papers.
What happened?
Heart attack, looks like.
Later, the morgue wagon attendants lift the body of the man who almost stole Ezra's business from him. As they carry it to the waiting truck, Ezra gasps.
Good Lord.
For although the morning sun is shining brightly, the dead man's body casts no shadow.
Which is the neatest trick of the week, wouldn't you say? Well, that's my revolting recipe for this issue, Creeps. Now it's time to put out the fire under my pot and close the doors to the haunt of fear. So toddle along. We lunatics will all be back next in VK's mag, the Vault of Horror. Bye now. I said bye! Go on and scram already!